my name's Arnel. In today's lesson, I'm going to teach you how to use as if and as though so you can start using them confidently. Let's start. Basics. As if and as though are both conjunctions. What's a conjunction? Don't worry, I'll explain this later. As if and as though have the same meaning. That makes things easy. The definition is the same. As if is more common. As though is less common and considered more formal. But to be honest, you can use these two interchangeably, no problem. So in today's lesson, sometimes I'll use as if and sometimes I'll use as though. They're the same. Keep this in mind as we look at lots of examples. We often use the verbs look, sound, and feel plus as if or as though plus subject plus verb. First, I'll give you examples and then I'll give you the explanation. Look at the sky. It looks as if or as though it's going to rain. This traffic isn't moving. It looks as if we're going to miss our train. It sounds as though our neighbors are having a party. The interview was awkward. It felt as if the interviewer didn't even know what job I was applying for. And awkward means a social situation is uncomfortable. It's like when two people are in an elevator and it's just silent. It's a bit awkward. Remember about a minute ago I said as if and as though are both conjunctions. What's a conjunction? Don't worry, I'll explain this later. A conjunction connects two parts like this. Subject plus verb, conjunction, subject plus verb. Here's a little trick I want you to think about. The C in conjunction means connect. Conjunctions connect. Look at my sentences. Subject verb, conjunction, subject verb. So you know after as if or as though you need a subject plus verb. We use as if or as though to express a possibility, not a fact, but something we feel is a possibility. Do I know for a fact 100% that it's going to rain? No, it's possible. Look at the sky. Do I know 100% that we are going to miss our train? No, but I think it's possible. Do I know our neighbors are having a party? No, maybe they are just listening to loud music. Did I know the interviewer was unprepared? No, but I felt it was possible. You can also see there are lots of tenses we can use. Going to for the future, present continuous, past simple. There are lots of options. Take a look at this picture here. I want you to complete this sentence with a possibility. What examples can you think of? It looks as if or as though he... Well, maybe you thought it looks as if he is going to throw up. Throw up. He got some bad news. He is trying to hold in a sneeze. And a sneeze is achoo. So he's trying not to sneeze. Do we know these things for a fact? Are we there? Are we him? No, but these are possibilities. Are these possibilities real? Yes, these are very logical possibilities. So far in this lesson, we've looked at logical, realistic possibilities. But what happens when the possibilities are hypothetical? Hypothetical. Hypothetical means not real, imaginary. We often use as if and as though to introduce a hypothetical description. When I got the good news, I felt as though I was flying. Was I? Was I really flying? No, this is hypothetical. Why am I so tired? I feel as if I haven't slept at all. Is this possible? Did I really not sleep the whole night? No, my description is hypothetical. Are you okay? You look as if you've seen a ghost. Did this person really see a ghost? No, we know ghosts aren't real. Do we only use the verbs look, sound, and feel? Those are the most common, but you can also use other verbs. Jim drives me nuts. In every meeting, he acts as if he were in charge. There are 3 things I want to look at in this sentence. First, if someone is in charge, this means that they are the boss. Second, what? He were? It should be he was, right? Normally we have this. I was, you were, he, she, it was, we were, they were. This describes the past, like Jim was tired yesterday. But if we are describing a present hypothetical situation, we can use were for all subjects. Like, if Jim were my boss, I'd go nuts. And to go nuts means to go crazy. This type of grammar is called the subjunctive. I have a full lesson on the subjunctive on my channel, which I'll link down below for you if you're interested. Third, this situation is hypothetical because Jim is not the boss. It's not real, but he acts like the boss. I'll do one more example using the subjunctive. Why does Sarah talk to me as though I were stupid? Again, I'm using were for a present hypothetical situation. We've looked at as though and as if with real and hypothetical possibilities. Let's look at another common structure. It is not as if. It is not as though. In the negative, the feeling changes a little. 1. You want to defend your actions by comparing it to something worse. Vicky seemed offended when I asked to borrow $50. It's not as though I asked her to pay my rent. You can see, I'm defending my action by comparing it to something else, something worse. Asking for $50 is not as bad as asking her to pay my rent. Why is she angry at me? I was 3 minutes late to the meeting. It's not as if I broke the law. 2. You want to calm someone by mentioning something worse. It's okay that you got a B- on your test. It's not as if you'll never be accepted into university. I can't believe my boss asked me to get coffee for everyone. Well, you are his assistant. It's not as if he asked you to do their laundry. You can see I'm trying to calm someone. Don't be angry about the coffee. There are much worse things he could have asked for. Here are 5 sentences from earlier. I just chose these randomly. In informal spoken English, it is very, very common for people to use like. Look at the sky. It looks like it's going to rain. I feel like I haven't slept at all. He looks like he is going to throw up. You look like you've seen a ghost. It's not like I broke the law. So yes, you can use like instead of as if or as though in conversations, but for academic writing, use as if and as though. Remember earlier in this lesson I said, as if and as though are both conjunctions. And then I explained a conjunction connects two parts like this. Subject plus verb, conjunction, subject plus a verb. Well, this is English, so of course there are exceptions. Sometimes you'll see these phrases followed by an infinitive or prepositional phrase. In my opinion, this isn't so common in spoken English. It's something you'll see in literature, but I still want you to know about it. What's the infinitive? Well, the infinitive is the base verb with to, like to go, to play, to eat, etc. What's a prepositional phrase? A prepositional phrase has a preposition plus a couple of words. That's it. She opened her mouth as though to speak, but said nothing. Bill looked away as if to hide his face. Jesse clutched his stomach as if in pain. Michelle stared at me as though under a spell. Right, one final point. Let's end with an idiom. Does your husband help wash the dishes? As if. Tina thinks I'm going to cover her shift tomorrow? As if. You want me to pay for your vacation? As if. We use this informal phrase in spoken English to say, this would never happen. My husband helping me wash dishes? This would never happen. For example. Covering Tina's shift? This would never happen. Paying for your vacation? This would never happen. With this idiom, only as if is possible, not as though. Student, can we use as though, as if it were as if here? Teacher, as if, not possible. Can you give me any example sentences using as if or as though? Let me know in the comments. I love hearing from you. I hope this lesson helped you understand these two phrases a bit better. Keep your eyes peeled for my next lesson where I teach the word as in detail. Thank you so much for watching. I can't wait to make another lesson for you. I'll see you next time.